Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
I am so blessed. I am not just blessed. I am so blessed. A whole bunch of O's after that. I am so blessed. Life is so good. I believe that this time of gratitude and thanksgiving is an opportunity for us to use thanksgiving and gratitude as a tool in our lives, as a spiritual practice. It's a time when we come into alignment, an awareness, a recognition that we are one with source energy, where we see that playing out in our lives in beautiful ways. In those times when we say, wow, I'm so thankful for that, you realize that I am one with all the good of the universe. I am so thankful, so thankful. Is a tool not after the fact of something, hey, something great just happened, I just won the lottery, or I just struck gold, or I hit an oil vein, or something. It's a matter of recognizing that at all times, the goodness is there. Maybe lying under the surface and I just happen to hit it, maybe hidden under a bunch of different numbers or whatever, and I just happen to hit the right number. But the truth is, the goodness is always there. I just happened upon it. I am grateful at this time that that goodness is always there because I recognize the goodness of source energy moving through and around me and in me and in the world. I am thankful for all the varied occurrences that have happened in my life, regardless of the initial level of appreciation at that time. So many things have happened in my life that I wouldn't necessarily at the time have been grateful for. Times when the wind was literally blown out of my sails. When my lungs literally collapsed. When I was literally knocked off my feet by the things that happened to or through me. Yet, those things have led me to where I am. And so, I must therefore be thankful for those things. In hindsight, maybe, or maybe it's just a now moment where I'm actually in appreciation of everything that has always happened to me. All experiences that I've had led me to my current condition. And I am so blessed. There were times when I didn't say, oh boy, this is so great. It was like times I said, oh boy, here we go again. Lots of O's. Oh no. But those moments led me to this place right here, where I can say life is so good. And I am so blessed. And I'm also thankful for what is falling away and what has fallen away in the past and in this time now to make space for the greater good, for the higher good that is waiting to happen to me. I was thinking as Frank was talking about Scott O'Grady and that tragic thing that happened to him. It's such a blessing to all the people who have heard that story and related to that story and are relating to it right now as a result. Such an amazing thing that happened. And I'm sure at the moment he wasn't feeling terribly grateful, except the fact that he was still alive and still safe. The fact that he has been able to move on from that and share that has impacted a lot of lives and a lot of people looking at life differently and saying, maybe I need a little more faith, a little more positive direction. Lao Tzu said, if you don't change direction, you may end up where you are heading. I love that statement, and I think about that quite often. I was thinking about it the other day as I was driving up Nova Road from Port Orange, and I noticed that I've never really thought about it before, but when you drive on Nova Road, there are all these big curves. And you curve this direction, you turn that direction, and you think, well, if I'm curving this direction, I'm not really going north anymore. I'm kind of going northwest or northeast or whatever. And I'm thinking, okay, but actually, if it weren't for these curves, by the time I reached maybe Holly Hill or Ormond, I'd probably be driving right down the middle of the river. And so I'm kind of glad that that river actually turns directions that it does. We have places in our lives where conditions and circumstances can empower or influence us to change direction. And if we don't change direction, we may end up where we're heading. And they may not be where we're supposed to go. makes changes to alter the path ahead, and that path ahead may be leading us to a better place than where we were going in the first place. I don't know who Asha Tyson is, but I love what she says. Your journey has molded you for the greater good, and it was exactly what it needed to be. Don't think that you've lost time. It took each and every situation you have encountered to bring you to the now, and now is right on time. I love that statement. Now is right on time. Now you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Now you are exactly where you were supposed to be all along. Now is the perfect time in your life. Had things been different in your life, you may be somewhere else or sometime else, but you are here now, and now is right on time. I love that. Christian D. Larson was a great influence on Ernest Holmes. He said, it is our privilege to have abundance of all that is rich and beautiful in the visible world, but it is the wealth and the beauty of the soul that gives happiness. It is the treasures we lay up in the spiritual within that make up all our treasures worthwhile, make all of our treasures worthwhile. It's an idea, it's a concept, it's inner recognition. That's what gratitude is. That's what thankfulness is. It's not a result of, a byproduct of things that have come into your life. It's an idea that you hold within that makes you appreciate the things that have come through you into your life. I love unexpected blessings. We have this thing we do in a lot of our classes, it's called unexpected income, where we make an agreement to tithe 10% to the center on all the stuff that has come into our life, maybe over a month or something, unexpectedly. And we begin to actually look for those things that are happening to us unexpectedly. And it's amazing, this stuff, well, maybe it's not really amazing, but it seems amazing. All the things that people are aware of that are blessings that are coming into their lives that can actually literally tithe on throughout the month. And we share those experiences throughout the classes. What are some unexpected blessings in your life that you're not aware of simply because you're not looking for them and looking directly at them? Rumi says, this being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Every single occurrence, every circumstance, every condition that is coming through you is a blessing. It's something that's aiming you in a different direction. It may knock you off your feet a little bit so that you maybe take a little different path. But that little different path could make all the difference. Was that what we said that? That one taking the other path made all the difference? Mark knows. Okay, so everything is a guide or a blessing. Nothing is insignificant. Nothing is a momentary setback. Everything that it seems like a momentary setback is something that is actually changing the course of your entire life progress, the evolution of your life. There's a story about an old elderly gentleman who had serious hearing problems for a number of years. He went to the doctor, and the doctor was able to get him fitted for hearing aids that allowed the gentleman to hear at 100%. The gentleman went back in a month to the doctor for a checkup, and the doctor says, your hearing is perfect. Your family must be really pleased you can hear again. The gentleman said, oh, I haven't told my family yet. But I just sit around and listen to the conversations. I've changed my will 5 times.
I can relate.
Sometimes things that have happened to us we've considered by us to have been disadvantages, disablements, and so on, can turn out to be benefits in a different way. unexpected events and side effects or benefits that can be powerful blessings. George Bernard Shaw said, a life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. Those mistakes that you have made in your life that have aimed you in a different direction are not disasters. They're blessings, because they have brought you to where you are now, where you can say, I am so blessed. Marilyn Monroe says, sometimes things fall apart so better things can fall together. So those things in the past where you've seen, those things maybe even right now where we're feeling like, oh, I'm worried about this and this could be a challenge, well, maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Be thankful when things fall apart. Be thankful when things go well. Just be thankful.
We will. And I did exactly what David told us to do there in his talk. Because I too am so blessed. And so I actually took the word blessed and gave meaning, gave a word to each of the letters in the word blessed. Something I haven't done for a little while here, but I used to do a lot because I like doing this. It pushes me to look for the blessings. Not that I don't anyway, but for this topic. And so the first one, the first B in blessed I used was beauty. And so this week I've been looking for where there's beauty in my life. And one moment struck me especially with awe as I was out on the playground with my students watching them play. They were playing, they created running races, and they put ropes down to create a boundary between the paths that they were racing on, and they had someone as the starter, and they had someone as a judge at the end that told them when to go. And so I just watched them for a while, and they were racing, and I was trying to figure out how they knew who would race who. So I moved a little closer, and they were saying, hey, want to race me? They didn't have any particular path. They simply were playing. They didn't care who won. There were no fights. There were no squabbles. There were no tears. It was incredibly awesome. It was a blessed moment of recognizing the creativity that they were using, the team building that they were using in life. And eventually they took in some kindergarten kids. And they didn't try to beat them by a mile. They simply ran beside them down the path and made sure that everyone had a turn, and everyone took turns as the starter and the judge at the end that told who was the winner. And it was really beautiful to watch. And so I started thinking about that word beautiful. And I know a lot of times I will talk about go home and look in the mirror and say I love you. And so I was thinking, how easy is it to look in the mirror and say, I am beautiful? Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I am beautiful? And how do those words resonate with you or brush up against you? I noticed for myself they didn't brush up against me very well. I thought, oh, that's rather egotistical. And then I thought, ooh, beauty is nature of the divine. I don't think I've ever really looked at that so seriously as I looked at it this week. Beauty is of the divine. So if we are not telling ourselves how beautiful we are, what are we sending as a message to our bodies, to our personalities, to our essence of who we are? I think we need to start telling ourselves how beautiful we are. And we live in a world where the model is the ultimate, the epitome of beauty, and the rest of us are just below. And I know I grew up in a time where Barbie was the perfect body and hair and face, and we all had to try to look like Barbie and wear Barbie clothes. And that's not true. If beauty is of the divine, we already are that. There's nowhere to look for it. So I suggest we all go home and look in the mirror and tell ourselves how beautiful we are. The L in blessed is for lawfulness. Lawfulness. I have great gratitude for this teaching, because this teaching is the only place in my life where I was actually taught that God is more than love. God is also law. There is that union, that unity of love and law. And in learning how the law works and what the laws are saying, lives are changed. It's not simply, oh, don't have that thought. It's everything that goes with that thought. It's knowing the law that will create the effect. So lawfulness is really important to me. The next E is exquisite life. This life is exquisite. Now I know exquisite can also mean beautiful, but it also means grace, elegance, delicate. And so in recognizing the moments when the exquisiteness of life is occurring is invaluable for us. It gives us an aha moment to feel grateful. And so recognizing is part of it, but also realizing that I can create these exquisite moments. I remember one of the first experiences I had, I don't know, I was probably around 30, and it was with Edwene Gaines, and I went to a workshop of hers, and she said, take yourself on a date. And I thought, what? Who would do that? And she said, take yourself on a date. Buy yourself something that's really pretty and fix a great, fabulous meal and wine, a glass of wine, or have it delivered nowadays. And sit down and wine and dine yourself. Give yourself that gift. That was probably one of the first moments that I ever experienced the exquisiteness of life, was doing that. So I suggest you do that if you haven't already. The S, of course, is for spirit, but not just spirit at large, the feeling of wholeness inside. When you just sit and close your eyes and think, spirit, spirit, I'm focused on the idea of spirit. Something inside knows that spirit is there, that it's available. And not only does it know it's inside, but it knows that there is no inside or outside. We talked about that a little bit last week. It knows that it is one flowing energy of love and peace. And that is what's moving through us. That is that feeling, that essence that we are experiencing. And although I am able to feel it within, I can know that it has no boundaries. It touches me just as it touches you, for we are truly one. There is one energy of love and peace. I am not a container that is feeling spirit in that moment, and how grateful I am for that moment, but it's passing. No, it's ever available to each and every one of us. It lives itself as us. So we can feel its experience flowing through us, just like the wind blows through the branches of a tree. They're gentle, yet firm. They're calm, yet all-powerful. And that feeling of the wind brings me to the next S, which is sensuality. This human experience provides us each an opportunity to feel life in ourselves, upon our skin, to hug one another. And I stress that to my children a lot. This is the time to hug one another. This is the time when we can feel one another. It's a powerful moment to revel in the love of Spirit's embrace through arms of each other. Touch is a vital aspect of human life. It is healing. It is connecting. The next D is experience. The experience of gratitude. The experience of being grateful. Do you ever notice the feelings or the energies that fill your being when you give your attention to the feeling of being grateful, to the idea of being grateful? We've talked about it all day long today. And so how are you feeling? Is it resonating? Are you feeling grateful? Are you looking for the things to be grateful for in life? Because it is really important to be grateful on purpose. And the final D is a word that I want you to think about as I say it. It is darlings. And it is because every one of you is a darling to me. You are darlings in my life. Some of us have been together for 40 years. Some of us have been together for 15, some of us for 2 months. But we know each other's heart because we're of the same mind. So we have a little merci, gratitude. Will you take one and pass them around there, please? And so I want to talk a little bit about darlings. You know, I kind of allow God to move through me as I do these talks. And when I got the word darlings, I sort of looked for another word. And another word didn't come. And I said, okay, well, I'll do a little research on the word darlings. So here's a little bit of information about that word. The dictionary says it's a person very dear to another. The Urban Dictionary says it's a nickname that's commonly used for a loved one like a partner. One American site says that calling people darling is patronizing, condescending, and promotes trivialization of the word. And one person went so far as to say it's creepy when someone calls me darling. So think about what you felt when I called you my darling. In the British customs, they say it is used as a term of affection by the upper class as they say to one another, I love you, darling. Right down to the taxi cab driver on the street who, when you jump in, says, where are you going, darling? So they use it commonly. A writer for the Gainesville Sun thought the word important enough to write an article on it in 2004, taking a survey first of people's thoughts and then realizing there are people with very strong opinions on both sides of this word. Some people, this author wrote, find it stomach-turning, while others find it endearing. Almost everyone agreed that it was politically incorrect to use it. Perhaps one of the reasons I continue to use it anyway, because I'm going to do what I want to do. One person said it might be the sign of a confident, friendly, outgoing person. And I thought, me, I'll be that. I will be brave enough to call people darlings. I don't know about you, but in the United States it seems that we use more the word honey or sweetie. And I always get a little chuckle when someone that's like 18 at a drive-through or server says, oh, I'll get that for you right away, honey. And I'm like, I'm old enough to be your grandmother. It's sweet, it's kind, and you can tell that it's genuine when people use those words. So here's where it originally comes from. It comes from Old English, the word deore, meaning precious, valuable, loved, beloved. It's believed that it has been shortened from the term dear one, which especially was affectionate feeling for me, because our primary teacher in the science of mind was Dr. K, and she called everyone dear one. And even the group in class, she'd call us dear ones. So it has been traced back to the 1500s as a term of affection. So as we enjoy meals, family, friends, over the Thanksgiving season, let us each know, I am so blessed by the many darlings in my life, the darlings that are precious, valued, and beloved, and so it is.
So